Taking chances, they don't ever matter. People never change. Love's a whore, you're nothing more. I'm sorry, that'll never change. And about forgiveness, we're both supposed to have exchange. Sorry, honey, but I passed it up. Now look this way. Well, there's a million other girls that do it just like you, looking as innocent as possible to get to who they want and what they like. It's easy if you do it right. Well, I refuse, I refuse, I refuse. Whoa, I never meant to break, but I got it where I want it now. Whoa, it was never my intention to brag, to steal it all away from you now. But God, does it feel so good? 'Cause I got it where I want it right now. And if you could, then you know you would. 'Cause God, it just feels so. It just feels so good. I watched his wildest dreams come true, and not one of them involving you. Just watch my wildest dreams come true, not one of them involving. Whoa, I never meant to break, but I got it where I want it now. Whoa, I never meant to break, but I got it where I want it now. Whoa, it was never my intention to break, to steal it all away from you now. But God, does it feel so good? 'Cause I got it where I want it now. And if you could, then you know you would. 'Cause God, it just feels so. It just feels so good.
Check yes, Juliet, are you with me? Rain is falling down on the sidewalk. I won't go until you come outside. Check yes, Juliet, kill the limbo. I'll keep tossing rocks at your window. There's no turning back for us tonight. Lace up your shoes. Here's how we do. Run, baby, run. Don't ever look back. They'll tear us apart if you give them the chance. Don't sell your heart. Don't say we're not meant to be. Run, baby, run. Forever we'll be you and me. Check yes, Juliet, I'll be waiting, wishing, wanting yours for the taking. Just sneak out and don't tell a soul goodbye. Check yes, Juliet, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, now fall in my arms now. They can't change the locks, don't let them change your mind. Lace up your shoes. Here's how we do. Run, baby, run. Don't ever look back. They'll tear us apart if you give them the chance. Don't sell your heart. Don't say we're not meant to be. Run, baby, run. Forever we'll be you and me. We're fighting through the night. We're fighting through the night. Way up high. The view from here is getting better with you by my side. Run, baby, run. Don't ever look back. They'll tear us apart if you give them the chance. Don't sell your heart. Don't say we're not meant to be. Run, baby,
imagine as I'm pacing the pews in a church corridor, and I can't help but to hear, no, I can't help but to hear an exchanging of words. What a beautiful wedding, what a beautiful wedding, says a bridesmaid to a waiter. Yes, but what a shame the poor groom's bride is a whore. I chime in with a haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poison rationality. I chime in, haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of, well, in fact, well, I'll look at it this way. I mean, technically our marriage is saved. Well, this calls for a toast, so pour the champagne. Oh, well, in fact, well, I'll look at it this way. I mean, technically our marriage is saved. Well, this calls for a toast, so pour the champagne, pour the champagne. I chime in with the haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poison rationality. I chime in, haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poison rationality. I chime in, haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poison rationality. I chime in, haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poison rationality.
Don't write yourself off yet.
Hello, everyone.
Only in your head you feel that.
No, like everything just fell. Everything just fell.
Just try your best. Try everything you
I don't know.
can.
I don't know.
And don't you worry
I don't know what's
what they
happening.
tell
Wait, do we have a
themselves.
birthday? Crumb!
You're away.
Happy birthday!
It just takes
some time.
Little girl, you're in a little out
The ride. Ah!
Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright. Alright.
All right, you guys.
You know they're all the same. You know you're doing better on your own.
I have something to tell you.
Don't buy in. Live right now. Yeah, just be yourself.
I am emo.
It doesn't matter if it's good enough. For someone
It's not a
else.
phase, Mom!
It just takes some time. Little girl, in a little
Have the ride.
Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. It just takes some
I'm an
time.
emu now.
Girl, in a little out the ride. Everything will be just fine.
It was never a phase.
Alright, alright.
It was never a phase. Come on. Yeah, the secret's out. The secret is out, everyone. Confession. I am emo.
Hey, don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out.
This is what I look like during the day. I de-emo myself when I go live normally. The emo to radical leftist pipeline. Hogan, thank you for the gifted. One Haley Williams album was all it took. We'll be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. Congrats on coming out as emo. Thank you. Thank you very much. Is everything gonna be just fine? You know what? I think so. I think it'll be just fine. All right, let me turn the music down, or else I'm just gonna keep rocking. Okay, so I only have like an hour because I was planning on streaming tonight, and then my stupid friend. Let me just present this to you guys so I don't feel crazy. So it's my friend's 30th birthday, and I thought it was tomorrow night, okay? Because I got a text. First, he had asked me, like, what dates are you and Will, like, what works for you? So I sent him a bunch of dates. And he's doing this murder mystery birthday, like, themed murder mystery. But all the texts that he's sent are so cryptic. Like, hello, are you a murderer? Are you good? Are you ready to uncover the mystery that waits you? Cool. If you're in, I'll send follow-up instructions soon. Like, he's being so emo. Okay, so this is the text message, and tell me that I'm not crazy. Greetings and welcome to your fate. I got this message last Saturday at 9:49 a.m. Greetings and welcome to your fate. Get ready for a game night with twists and turns at every step. You've been invited to a wonderful evening with friends, and on this night, 1 week from today, you will be known as Emo Night. Okay, so that's why I'm dressed as emo. 1 week from today, this text message was sent Saturday at 9:49 a.m. So I assumed that the birthday would be tomorrow, which is a week from last Saturday. And then as I'm like starting to get stuff ready for stream, I get a text being like, hey, try to be there as close to 8 o'clock tonight so we can start the game on time. I was like, hold on. Hold on a second. So anyway, the murder mystery cryptic birthday that I have to go to is tonight. These are not streamer friends of mine. It's not a streaming thing at all. But that's why I'm dressed. But that's why I'm emo, because my character is Emo Night. And also why I had planned on streaming a full stream tonight, but then because I thought it was going to be tomorrow. So tomorrow I will do a regular stream, and
Girl,
tonight,
this look Quinsley.
Oh, Jaina, thank you for the 35 months. So tomorrow I will regularly stream, and then of course Sunday, and then tonight it's short. We should watch this video to celebrate. Do you think I need more eyeliner? You think we need more eyeliner? I think I might need more eyeliner. I honestly don't know how I can put more eyeliner on. This is what you look like when we die before the final boss in a Night Rain. Dude, Nandre, I'm so mad because I wanted to play Night Rain tonight. My whole schedule's been messed up, but it's okay. It's fine. It's all right. Not all of us recognizing the win. No. I mean, I can do tomorrow night.
Wake
piercings. I don't care how many times I've heard this song. Fucking slaps every time. Do you think she's ever woken up inside? I love this because this is the level of drama I aspire to. Okay, thank you for another gifted. Yeah. The band that was saved from being categorized as Christian rock band by the lead singer actually saying damn in an interview one time. One time. Wait, how do you know I have it queued? Yeah, we're gonna watch the interview. Duh. Of course. Obviously. That's like kind of why I went live. Oh, it's on the screen? Oh. Wake me up inside. Me when I'm having my sleep paralysis demon. Does she wake up? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. All right. All right. All right. All right. We're in the mood now. We're in the mood. All right, you guys. We only have like an hour. And first off, I sent this photo. See this? I sent this to Sam. And I said, do I look like an 18-year-old British farmer? And she said, the fact that you clarified 18 years old makes me think it's a niche porno. And I was like, no! No! Said, I'm doing an audition. And it's like a Game of Thrones type show. It's like, so I take it I don't look like an 18-year-old British farmer. And then I asked Will, I was like, do I look 18? And he said, you look as beautiful as the day I met you. I was like, that is not answering the question at all. At all. Do I look British at least? Do I look like a farmer? Any of the above? Anything? No? Will we talk about the drama of the century, the boo-boo blackface? Like, these are words that should not exist. Labubu blackface. Those are words that should not be in it's not in the English language dictionary. I'm very white British passing. Great. Excellent. Did you see this clip of Will being a theater kid to cutie during the peak game he played? No, I have not yet. But okay, y'all, listen. Alexander, thank you for the 7 months. Okay, so I only have like an hour, and I want to get to the Jinx Monsoon Z-Way interview if we can, because I've been holding off on watching that. But this is her apology video. Okay, well, let's save this stuff. Let's save it. And then if we have time, we can try to get to it all. So also I want to hate that this has been the topic of the week, but talking about what's going on with leftists, okay? And this is one of those that like maybe people aren't even, it's like in the know on. I have to keep in mind that like not everybody is in the know on every single thing. And how much do I need to pay you to cut an eyebrow slit? $5. Okay, so Mike from PA got banned, and I know some people have been talking about it, and just the two clips circulating that have been upsetting. And one of them was the Jew ethnicity demon one, where I do believe that was a misspeak. It doesn't matter. Like, it's bad. It needs to be just like straight up, straight up condemned, apologize for. I'll speak more on that. And then the one where he used the term buck breaking, assault a chatter. And if you don't know, buck breaking is a very racialized term. It's funny because I actually was talking about this just 2 days ago or so. I can't remember why, but I was talking about how like sexual violence against Black men during slavery and during like Jim Crow was a weapon of slavers, of colonizers. And so here we are having this conversation again. And what I would say too is like, I know Shonda Black has been talking a lot about this yesterday and today, and like, please go watch his VODs. I think he's really informative and educational about it. But Mike used that term, and he said he didn't know that it was racialized, that it has a very painful, racial violent history behind it. And I think Stavi also recently used that to like make fun of Adam Friedland. As I said, you know what? We've got some like serious issues with language on the left that I don't care if you do comedy, or I don't care if you're a political commentator. Like, we have got to be better. You're not expected to like know every single thing ever. But I do think, first of all, when something has been pointed out, you have to immediately accept that you're wrong in using it, and say like, I'm not going to do this again. And now I'm going to educate myself and others, and I'm not going to do that. So I just want to say, first of all, I did speak to Mike this morning. I had a conversation with him. I am someone who I prefer to like try and always have private conversations with people, especially if I feel like they are generally good, and that I think that they genuinely want to, like, there is room to be better here. So I spoke to him. We had a conversation. He when he returns will be, of course, addressing everything, and he fully recognizes why it was wrong. And I know it's kind of hard because there's like a couple things going on here. And I also said like, hey, I understand that as a streamer, as a leftist, you get a lot of shit, and a lot of times it's super bad faith. It's like really disingenuous. It's people who are attacking you because of the ideals that you preach. But also, like, we cannot be creating these hostile environments that are so aggressive that when our own try to call us out, try to criticize us, like, that they don't feel they're able to, that there's like no room for it. And I think this is something that's being addressed a lot this week, that was kicked off because of Alex, Lolo Overruled. But really, this is not a new issue, and it's something that we need to do a lot of introspection. No one is free of blind spots. And so my biggest thing is, are these leftist communities becoming such aggressive, hostile spaces? The way that we talk, the way that we kind of have, like, it kind of feels as if we've reached this point of like Because like the groups that we're constantly going to battle against, the you know, the way that like online rhetoric is very incendiary, and like is you're rewarded for being you're rewarded for being like edgy and you know, understanding all of like the internet language and insulting terms and like kind of being toxic. This is something that has really, I felt, bled into leftist communities. It's something I talked to Mike about too. I was like, look, man, you're different than I am. I ultimately can't tell you how to run your stream and your community, but what I will say is every single streamer has to be aware of how we are shaping the spaces that we are operating in. You have a sizable platform, you have influence. I hate the term influencer, but like as political streamers, we are streamers. We are with influence. And so having that influence comes with, you know, along with that comes a responsibility. And I just feel like this issue that we're running into of when there is legitimate criticism of leftist streamers and of their communities from especially marginalized creators and Twitch watchers, that it's being shut out. There's like no space for it. It's always shut down with the like, well, you're being a record. You know how much we like, please, you sound like you sound right wing. You're being a rad lib, like all of these also very internet popular terms, right? Like this is a thing that's very internet speak specific. Okay. So, it's become very clear that people are so parasocial, they reflexively defend the behavior of their favorite streamers and shut down criticism. And I'll thank resubs after I'm done speaking. So also, sorry, I just realized I drank this. It was in my fridge. And I grabbed it. I didn't even realize. My bad. So, okay, as I was saying, your makeup is so slay. It's emo as hell. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts that I'm trying to parse through here now that had to have been Sam. I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna name names. Okay. So, first and foremost, as this is for streamers, okay? I'm directing this to streamers. We are responsible for the environments that we are creating in our communities. So my tactic, the way I like to operate, is I really try and lead with being as inviting, as welcoming. I don't want, like, if I'm getting the sense that my chat, that my community is being hostile to people who are, say, trying to raise concerns that are legitimate, valid concerns, then that's on me. That is my responsibility to make sure that that is not the vibe that we're cultivating here. And I get that there are a lot of really awful people out there who are coming in here or like on Twitter or other online spaces where like our community is, and they're just really hateful, and they're attacking completely disingenuously, and they're just bad. Okay. I get that. Like I am frequently targeted by very disingenuous attacks. But at the same time, like I also recognize when there is legitimate criticism. And I do not believe that me or anyone else is above criticism, is above anything, simply because we are often attacked and because expectations are higher when you are a leftist because of our shared principles. Of course, Asmongold and all these other apolitical streamers, like, they don't adhere to the same guidelines because they stand for nothing. And so as a leftist, when these are the things you preach and you have formed a community and you have gotten a platform from advocating these things, you have to be consistent. You do. And that means like recognizing when you have blind spots. That means hearing out criticism and like acknowledging when you were wrong about something. With the, we have to stop with the like, can't criticize ever, can't say, can't recognize when somebody messed up, when somebody used hurtful language, is like maybe cultivating cultivating a space that is not accepting, that is like not welcoming. We have to stop like approaching these leftist spaces with this very black and white attitude. Okay. Lumping everyone in with the bad faith people just makes it worse, and makes it seem like the person simply doesn't care. It's like an ego thing. Yes. And now also though, I do believe that when somebody is like truly, I think that it's important that we do look at someone's character. We do look at like, what do they consistently advocate for? And so when they stumble, when they say something that like is racist or is misogynistic, that it's calling out that language and asking for them to be better, but also like taking them in totality as well. And I think what happens is when somebody, say Hassan or Mike or another big leftist streamer is like, people are trying to hold them accountable to be better about something, then the defenders, the fans who rush to their defense will be like, oh, so you're saying that they're a racist. You're saying that they're a transphobe. Are you kidding me? Do you know how much advocacy they've done? Do you know how much good they've done? And it's like, there's no space in between. We just have this inability to have like any type of thoughtful conversation here. So again, I had a conversation with Mike, and he fully knows. I don't really want to like speak to it because he will be back and he will talk about it. And I basically was just like, here's the issues that I have been seeing. Here's my problem with what's happening in these leftist spaces, especially in these big communities that are led by white male leftist streamers. And I hope that like we can have conversations here as, people who know each other. And like, I know what Mike believes in. I know what he cares about, what ultimately he stands for. And so it's these are things that I am seeing and that I'm having a problem with, and how these conversations that are being had right now, and a lot of marginalized streamers are expressing their frustration, but they have been expressing their frustration. It's just that I think for the first time, a lot of people are finally maybe listening to it. And to be clear, like these have been ongoing issues, but I do think that they have been escalating. I think the aggressiveness, I think I think the way that, here's what I will say, okay? a lot of terms that people will use as an insult, I literally have no idea what they are. Okay. Like I recently, not recently, but like when I started streaming, I didn't know what cuck was. I didn't know soy, like all of these things that are used by people who are very online. And it's because it's like, the way I look at it is, I think it's also a response to how the right so dominates in media, on the internet. You know, they have this growing they have this growing umbrella with tons and tons of male content creators who are growing these massive audiences, who are, you know, having a lot of influence. And they use like really edgy language. They use very like internet speak. And I think that's something that more leftists have started to adopt as almost like kind of playing their own game. And I think what's happening is, when you're just constantly shooting, when on, say, a Twitch stream, which is already like you're performing, there is this like, I'm gotta be entertaining, I have to be performing here. I think it leads to something like Mike using the term buck breaking to like insult this chatter. It's like we're not being careful with our words. And yes, he says he didn't know what it was, but it's like we're picking these things up from spaces online, and we really need to know what this stuff is and not just be repeating it because like other people are saying it online. Sorry if I'm like, I know I may sound, I'm not trying to be like my way is the best here. Essentially, I'm trying to say that these are words that I don't know. So a lot of times I have to look stuff up because I'm just like, what is this language that people are speaking? And I just think that for a lot of people who are more internet brained, who are like picking these words up, these phrases from who God knows where they originate. Like we have to be careful in understanding where this stuff comes from, you know? Most of these internet terms are based in misogyny, like soy comes from this myth that soybeans contain estrogen. Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to assume that a lot of like language that's very specific to the internet is probably not rooted in things that are good. That like we just need to be careful with the language that we're using. Now, I want to say, Infinite Warm, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I want to say that I don't agree with people who are comparing Mike to Lolo. And I think that is absolutely minimizing how Lolo used his connections to major figures in the progressive movement. He used his progressive beliefs as a way to prey on people. So I think there's a lot of anger right now, and rightfully so, around Alex and his extensively abusive behavior. And he is a predator, okay? And as I said, there is more that will most likely be coming out on him, but what has come out already absolutely points to that. Sorry, I'm just seeing what's happening in chat right now. Okay, so what was I saying? The comparison is ridiculous, but I think what's happening is the Alex thing kicked off a lot of the conversations that are being had right now. And I think a lot of the anger that people feel, I know this might be vodka. I think a lot of the anger that people feel towards Alex, towards the way that people initially responded when stories started being shared, like then it, kind of applying it to these larger issues amongst leftist communities. I think that is all very valid anger, and I feel a lot of that too. And it's why I addressed that stuff. And we do have these ongoing issues on the left, because being on the left does not exclude the existence of misogyny, of anti-blackness, of all the bigotries that exist in this world do not stop existing because of being a part of a belief system that is supposed to be against all that stuff. Hazard, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. So people are frustrated with long-standing issues in these spaces. Absolutely. And I think then the clips that were circulating of Mike, like, I think it was just more fuel on the fires. But please do not compare Alex and Mike in who they are. And I think it is important. And look, I will not sit here and tell you, like, you have to like Mike. You have to watch his streams. No, I'm not gonna tell you that at all. And really, I'm just trying to point out that this is commonly in big leftist communities, we have these issues of blind spots, and we have these issues of, like, the community being very hostile to any genuine criticism and any genuine push for the streamer or for community members to be more aware of harmful language, of, like, hey, maybe you said this as a mistake. Maybe you didn't mean to say this, but, like, it still has to be addressed, and we have to learn from that. It's a conversation that's long overdue. Mike and Alex are not the same. Right. And I to repeat myself, I did one thing I really stressed with Mike was the kind of growing aggressiveness and hostility. And I'm like, Mike, I think, most of the time you're probably shooting someone who is coming in to be a real piece of shit and troll, and it's fun to, like, bring them into the public square to, like, get one off on them. But I also think that is contributing to this overall hostile environment. And, like, sometimes people are attacked who we should be welcoming them in. Like, people are, and then it creates these moments where, like, hurtful language is used. And even if it's used against someone who's shitty, like, it's still the problem with the language that's being used. I've met Mike IRL. He's a lovely guy despite his faults. I know Mike personally. I've had a lot of conversations with him off stream, and they're always great. And I know, I know the things that he believes in and what he's been advocating for. And that's why, like, I've said to him too, the first time I met him in person, I was like, you're very different from the vibe that you give off on your stream. Like, I'm going to be for real. You're kind of seem aggressive and hostile on stream. And I've seen people say, like, it's why they can't watch your content. And then I see you in real life and have, lovely conversations with you. Yeah, buddy. I'm just streaming for, like, 30 minutes. I know. We're gonna go as soon as I'm done.
Disgusting.
I'm already dressed. Go get your farmer outfit on. Will has to be a farmer. I'm emo and he's a farmer. So anyway, and I know Mike is like really passionate about things too, and I don't want to like it's not trying to take the passion away, but there's the passion and then there's the like being edgy and it morphs into something else, and I think it's contributing to issues. It's like I think it's just better to be on the safer side of things and like try and just try to be more inviting. And like, here's the thing, okay? The people who love that shit, they're diehards, all right? These are people who they're gonna ride with you into whatever direction you go, and they're already there. And so I do think it can be counterproductive. I do think that it can close people off when we're not being as, I guess, thoughtful and considerate in demeanor. But that's just often been the way that I look at things. And I try not to be as abrasive with the messaging, but also because like I brand myself as a pop culture commentator, and I'm very clear in my leftist ideals, but I want people to come in the same way that they would like go to Candace Owens or Brett Cooper and be like, oh, I'm really interested in learning about the Sydney Sweeney ad, whatever. I want to know what's happening with the Sean Combs trial. And it's a, okay, maybe if I have a different attitude or if I'm like presenting things differently, these people they're not going to stick around. They're not going to listen to what I have to say and how if how I'm saying it is not open and I like to be very clear, before anyone's like, yeah, but it's exhausting. You think I don't know this? You think I haven't spent a life as an Asian woman, where, God forbid I raise my voice and I'm a screechy bitch. Okay. Like, oh, she's, a feminazi. Like, just even speaking on misogyny, people will tune out. They'll roll their eyes. I get it. Okay. I understand fully. But I also feel, in particular, when advocating for Palestine, being a non-Palestinian advocate for Palestinians, especially because Palestinians so often are shut out of the conversation. Like, they don't get platformed. They're not, their voices are not centered. And it's something that needs to change. But unfortunately, it's just the case that like the biggest voices are always going to be non-Palestinians. And I think that we have a responsibility to be as careful and as considerate with our language. And it's frustrating. I understand to like, I mean, it feels like you're constantly just checking yourself before you say a word, because you don't want it to be misconstrued, because you don't want assholes who do not give 1 ounce of care to the Palestinian cause to like use that as a way to hurt Palestinians. So that issue in particular, like, I try and be so considerate and careful in the words that I use. And it can be hard when like you speak for hours a day, you repeat the same talking points, and like, I get it. Perfect is the enemy of good. And I've always said to you guys, don't ever let perfection stop you from advocating. But it is something that for me, as the person who is the streamer, the person with the platform who has been targeted by these communities who like, they are looking at it. They scour my clips. They scour my VODs. They are looking for anything to be like, it is something that like I am going to always be as like on my P's and Q's as I can be. And that's because of the position that I'm in here. And so that's why with Mike, you know, he has advocated for Palestine for years. Mike has been against the actions of Israel since before October 7th. And he has spent a lot of time trying to educate his audience. And so it is something where what he said was, you say like, this is not right. He had, you know, to apologize for it immediately and go, I did not mean to say that, right? Because it is in the pursuit of trying to be perfect, you are going to misspeak. You are, whatever situation it is, you will make mistakes. You will have blind spots, like whatever's going on. That is going to be a part of it. And I think my hope is that we're having these conversations now and that it's not going to fix issues overnight, but I need people to be able to like have a nuanced understanding of these things, to not look at it as like we're just all attacking each other, where it's, you know, oh, leftist infighting. Oh, you know, God forbid someone makes a mistake, or, you know, you're trying to cancel them now. And like, it's not to say that there aren't people who operate that way. But in my experience, most people aren't like that. And I would hope too that people wouldn't see me as trying to take down other leftists, in the same way that, like, look, when I have made mistakes, when I have had blind spots before, that I'm continuing to contribute to, if I contribute to harm because of my blind spots. Like, I want to have a community where, you know, these are things that we can talk about, and that I trust the people who know me, know my content, aren't going to attack me, aren't going to approach this, you know, having these conversations in a way where they're trying to cancel me, where it's like they are judging my entire character and everything else I've said and done doesn't matter because of this one thing. I think it's weird when a streamer prides themselves on having a lot of women or POC or queer folks in their community, but then when the same community provides a genuine critique thanks to their less privileged experience, the streamer treats them like a hater. Yes, and the reason that I feel I can also call out my fellow leftists who get very defensive over stuff is, it's like, do you think I don't get attacked? Do you think as a leftist woman, an Asian woman, that I don't have to that I'm not dealing with bad faith attacks all the time? I was the only person who was live on October 7th. I was the only political streamer that I could see. Like, I looked around, no one else was streaming, and I wasn't going to stream that day, and I went live. And like, yes, I have also been on the receiving end of a lot of attacks. I just typically stay away from engaging against engaging against these assholes and their communities, like that's the tactic that I take. You may not agree with it, but that's what I do. And so, but still, I'm always getting hit with bullshit. But I also think it's really important that I don't use that as a way to like escape any accountability if I'm making mistakes. And I like that's why I don't have patience. I don't have patience for this continued attitude of can't genuinely critique issues within leftist communities, be they leftist viewers or streamers, because I experience this as well. You don't let everything you say being picked apart by bad faith actors makes you shut out any and all criticism that you get. The guys tend to do that, and it really sucks. I get why they're pushed to that point, though. They're exhausted. I hope they take Sean's advice to them to try and listen more, and I hope viewers learn to bring up criticisms without being so aggressive. Boom. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. I think how toxic the internet can be with insane haters. It's made a lot of creators reflexively view any criticism in bad faith, but I don't make content, so who knows? Yes, that is the case. That is that. And I understand the reflex because I am also in that position of most frequently when I'm being attacked, when I'm being criticized, it is so disingenuous. It's a way to just invalidate, me and everything that I do here. So I understand, but there's, the truth is too, is that if you're a streamer, you have an ego. I mean, non-streamers, it's an ego thing as well, but being a streamer, there is a level of narcissism, of having an ego. And I think that's something that also needs to be, you got to be checking that. You got to be checking yourself. And I just think it's always doing introspection. And this goes for just being a human being, being like, how am I moving through this world? How am I operating in my communal spaces? Like, how do I strive to always be the best person that I could be, that I can be? I think this goes for all of us. It really is like, it's as simple as, put all the specific politics aside. It's really, how do I try and be the best person that I can be in this world, and, ensure that I am a helper and not a harmer. A lot of times it feels like people who are supposed to be pro-rehabilitation can be the most unforgiving to people who've done wrong. Yeah, and I think this is something we've discussed with just kind of how the internet operates with like the main character of the day, with like loving to see somebody get ripped apart. And it's this weird thing where even if it's someone that like we like, or that we have previously vibed with, there's almost just kind of this innate it's like this satisfaction. And then if there's someone who you personally don't like, then it's kind of I'll step back and watch as they're ripped apart in like a very gladiatorial way. Yeah. TBH, it's not normal to have hundreds of people agree with everything you say every day. It's going to build an ego if you don't stay on top of it. Yeah. And like, that's one thing I also appreciate in my conversation with Mike is like, he is, he was being very self-aware, and he was talking about like how, I'm sorry, everyone. let me just thank resubs while this is happening. Do you need to know? The overalls are all the way on the right. In right side. You got some? Adakemi, thank you for the 23 months. Ellie Faba, thank you for the 8 months. Ellie, I always try to have conversations with people who are in my life. I can't control what they do. You know, I can only try and do what I can do. Hazard, thank you again for the 10 gifted subs. Eerie Whoosh, thank you for the tier 1. Infinite Worm, thank you again for the 5 gifted subs. Sad Uterus, thank you for the 24 months. Spudding, thank you for the 23 months. Infinite Worm, thank you for the 2 months. This man. Marshy! My culture is not your prom dress. It is now, baby. It is now. Talia, thank you for the 5. I don't even know anymore if this is for Will or if it's for me. Yeah, where's Dragon Army? Kept Nice, thank you for the 5. Marsh, don't hate me because you ain't me. Don't hate me because you ain't me. That reminds me of a t-shirt I saw one time that said, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Hate me because your boyfriend thinks I am. Your boyfriend being Will. Yet another man centering himself. I simply cannot win. This is my first time on your stream, and your calmness and delicate but firm approach is a breath of fresh air compared to the constant aggression from other streamers who ultimately mean well but get too defensive so quickly. Well, welcome in. Happy to have you here. And and as I said, look, I'm not here to tell other people how to run their streams, how to be in, what to do about their communities. That's ultimately up to them. And similarly, I'm not responsible for anyone's behavior. I'm not. I'm responsible for myself, and I'm also responsible for my community, how my community as an extension of me is representing what we're all about here. But otherwise, like, all I can do is give my thoughts and express my concerns and my hopes for like how we can improve things and how we can be just overall like in these leftist communities. If we're not cultivating good vibes here, if people don't feel welcome, if they don't feel heard, if they don't feel like there's space for them, then where the hell are they supposed to go? Ah, there he is. I guess I shouldn't have. There they are. Dragon Army, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Will, you got me some subs, so thank you. Not the end, thank you for the 26 months. Azafel, thank you for the bits. Emerson, thank you for the gifted sub. You're making me money, honey. You're making me money, honey. I've noticed then when you address these sensitive topics, you tend to discuss it from a place of compassion instead of trying to be the loudest voice. Because I think if I try to be the loudest voice, I'm never going to be the loudest voice. And I also, it feels foreign to me. Like, it feels alien to me. And it's not like I haven't had moments in chat where I'll pop off, okay, where I like do my fuse is just totally burnt. The patience runs out. It's just how it goes. Like, sometimes people will come in here and I'll mess around with them a little bit, but also I think mostly it's just kind of a let's try to keep vibes. Let's try to keep vibes good. I think your newness to the internet content creation, your willingness to learn while still bringing your real life experience to discussions is something a lot of streamers can never have. I'd say it leads to a lot of deeper convos that are simply impossible to have in some other chats. I mean, I'm also like, I am a firm believer in, I don't like to just duke things out on Twitter or like through stream clips, particularly when somebody is someone who I think their heart is in ultimately the right place, who I think that they can be a force for good. So I'm always going to try and operate that way and not try and just make a scene out of shit. I have a lot of lived experience off the internet. Yes. It's yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I was 30 when I started streaming, and um, I, I just operate, I think, in a way that maybe a lot of streamers don't, because so much of their early, when they were teens in their 20s, a lot of it was spent online interacting that way. I enjoy watching you and Taylor Lorenz talk about women's issues. You guys hit a lot of points that I'm always nervous to talk about because I've been around men in the gaming space my whole life. And to be clear, me trying to lead with grace and have, always be thoughtful in my communication does not mean that I do not staunchly believe the things that I believe in. And that people who are demonstrably an enemy to progress, who are not, not moving through this world in a way that is considerate of their fellow human beings, like, I will always stand up against those people. And I think, it's not shying away from the things you believe in. It's being firm in that. But just as a person with a platform, choosing how I want to communicate my ideas and my beliefs. That is ultimately, not going to be, I don't want it to be hostile. It's refreshing to hear content creators say they want to have conversations with someone to help them understand rather than make content out of it. I've seen too many disingenuous content cycles at this point. Yeah, I think especially if someone personally, and when it's a situation like this, one, okay, like with Mike, and he asked to speak to me, and he reached out to me as a way to be like, I need to improve. Like, I want to be better here. And as someone who shares space and who knows him personally, I am perfectly happy to be, I'm perfectly happy to help and guide in the ways that I can. So I just wanted to say, to kind of wrap this up, I just wanted to say, Mike is going to address everything himself when he returns to stream. He doesn't expect that everyone is going to be like, yeah, cool, good, great, I like Mike now, or I watch Mike, in the same way that I wouldn't tell you, you have to like this person, you have to watch their content. But I appreciated the conversation that I had with him. And I think that Mike has done a lot of really good advocacy. And I think he is, at least how he made it sound, is he is wanting to improve how he operates in this space. And I do think that ultimately he has a good heart, and his style of you know, him as a streamer, like not everyone is for everyone. And I also get that, like, if Mike has, you know, if the language he's used, if the errors he has made, have been hurtful to you, have been ones that you just don't want to, that's not someone that you want to get your stream content from, like, that's completely fine. He's one of the biggest culprits of saying everything is rad lib. Yes. And yeah, no, I talked about that because I was like, you know, my frustration is anytime I try to bring up like something I personally deal with, which is misogyny, I can get dismissed as being as being a rad femme, as being a rad lib. And like, so I hope that people who are now, you know, maybe looking at things differently, and we do have issues in leftist spaces, that we can cut back on these. We can cut back on just applying like these internet insults to every single person, you know, like calling every single person woke of the day, calling any person woke of the day, or like, you know, using woke in a derogatory way and like a very reactionary way, because we don't like that somebody is ruining our fun. We don't like that somebody is saying something that really, you know, you should listen to them. You know, Sean DeBlack is, he's a great creator. He's been talking about, he has specifically been talking about anti-blackness, which is something that he knows personally a lot about in streaming. And that's something that I hope people listen to him about. And also, like, I've seen that, you know, woke lib shit be thrown at him in the way that it's thrown at me when I try and talk about misogyny, when I try and like highlight misogyny throughout the left. So please read this. Okay. You've done fairly well and have received my thoughts with grace. I'm disappointed that I was the one to be timed out. Okay, I don't know anything about that. And not the motherfuckers trying to teach me my own history and politics whenever I bring up our issues. They're either taught back to me or looked at through a Western lens. Need to remind everyone that this has to change, that this space is ignoring 1/5 of the whole planet's population. Thank you for listening. Yeah, the one friend that's too woke has done irreparable damage to social media. I know it has. I know. I'm so sick and tired of seeing that everywhere. I'm so sick and tired of like just the word woke in general, because of the way that is so inaccurately and obnoxiously applied by all corners of the internet. Like it really is unfortunately a word that has been so destroyed. Like the meaning of it has been destroyed. And it's not just because of the right and how like anti-woke has been their banner, has been their rallying cry for a long time now, but because of just like it being so used and abused. It's been used to dismiss criticism for ruining the vibes. Changes are needed when it comes to approaching criticism. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Ashley, I'm gonna have to look at that tomorrow, because freaking hell. Atlantic Tuna, thank you for the 23 months. I do want to look at that. I'm for real. I will look at that tomorrow. Axel Einer, thank you for the prime. Y'all, where did the time go? Shoot. I'm not going to forget. No. Because tomorrow I'm going to do a full stream. Actually, is Sam live yet? I was going to wait for her to go live so I could rate her for the thing that she's doing tonight. Tomorrow I will do a full stream and we'll do lots of fun content. And that includes the Jinx and Z-Way interview that I wanted to get to today. She's going to be live at 7:30. Shit. Okay, well, I just want to make sure that like I said everything that I wanted to say. I want to read some comments and I just want to read over chat a little bit. First time actually listening, eyeshadow dope, brows on fleek. Let me hear that rhetoric. Y'all, should I go emo more often? I genuinely think a lot of these guys are acting in good faith, but they're men and they have blind spots. It's not an excuse and we all need to do better. Yes. I got you, dude. What? I got you. You'll always be my op for being American, but you're still a really cool streamer and appreciate the space. You know, y'all, there are times that I'm like, I don't think I can stream anymore. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I was meant to do this. I don't think I'm supposed to be a content creator. I don't think I can be here anymore. And I am always reminded that I do think no, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave. I do think that me being who I am in this space, I know it's important for a lot of you, and so it's one thing that like keeps me coming back. You're doing amazing, sweetie. It keeps me coming back, and it's also why I really try and add variety into my streams, because talking about this stuff all the time, it can be very exhausting. Very, very, very exhausting. Because there is no perfection here. There is no way of like getting it completely correct. And I don't know, like I went to dinner last night with Julian Solomita and Chris Melberger and Sam, and we had a really great time. And I just want to say, first and foremost, as cheesy as this sounds, those two guys kind of helped me get out of my cynicism that I have felt this week a lot, if I'm being honest, about men. And I just really appreciated like us all hanging out, having a great time, like, talking about stuff. And so shout out to the friendship last night. But because I was hanging out with Julian, I was thinking about Jenna Marbles. And when I got home, I like went and watched her video her last video where she's like, I don't want to hurt anybody anymore. And she just left and like never came back. And it's something where, you know, I worry too about, I worry too so much all the time about hurting people. Like I want, it's hard because in a Twitch chat, not everybody is going to agree with you. Not everybody is going to agree with everyone. And it shouldn't be the case. But like, I totally understood Jenna's, like, I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to make anyone upset. And so this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm going to leave too. God, she was, I know. A lot of people miss her. A lot of people miss her. But it's like I don't want to live constantly. It's how do when you're a person who cares, it is a lot being a streamer, because it's a lot being a streamer and being a streamer who does commentary, because it does suck to have people constantly shitting on you just in such a disingenuous way. That sucks. Like I really have to I really am careful around reading comments because of how much it can affect you. And you're just in being perceived in being on the internet, you open yourself up to people saying whatever the hell they want to say. And so that sucks. But also because like I don't want to misrepresent myself, and I don't want people who, I know that we vibe, and I know that I want them to be in this community, and I want to be their streamer, and I want to be a person that they're listening to, that they're learning from, that they're laughing with, maybe laughing at. But it is that pressure of like, I can't make everyone happy, and I can't make everyone like me, but I can just try my best to be a force for good, I guess. I am just going to try to be a force for good and leave things better than when you walk in somewhere and you leave it a better place when you finally go. People who care it's holding yourself to high standards, which I ultimately think is good. I think we should hold ourselves to high standards, and I think we should always be thinking about, what is the impact that I'm having on other people that I'm sharing space with, that I'm sharing this world with. So that being said, I know that as hard as I can try, I'm never going to be perfect. Nobody is, but I will always try and have this ultimately be a place that you want to return to. Shauna Black beating the misogyny allegations. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. You are officially in the clear. That is how it goes, for all this talk we've just had here. That is how it works, where you subscribe and you are now immune. You do now have you're good. You're in the clear. You're in the clear. Small smack talk. Thank you for the 2 months. Hassan Kader, I'm so sorry. I don't know if you're still here. Hassan, sorry. Thank you so much for the tier 1. I am really bad about I always will thank you. It just might not be exactly in that moment. Here comes Crub. Okay, yeah, don't believe his lies. All right, do not believe his lies. I love women. Everything he says, it's the opposite. Crub, what up, buddy? But for real, if you get the bag, leave all this leftism shit behind. I mean, as I say, there may be a day that I do leave and I just go write Rupi Kaur poetry. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a part of me that's always loved. I love words. And I loved screenwriting. I did. and I miss that creative part of my life. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll just be gone and I'll just be like by the sea writing, using a quill, writing on parchment paper. Good morning. I hope you're doing okay. You know what? I'm good. I am good. I'm ultimately happy that these conversations are happening this week. I am. I'm glad, and I hope that this continues. I hope that we do keep striving to be better. I hope that, we treat each other kindly and fairly, and recognize who is your enemy and who's not. And there's a lot of bad, really bad people out there, and there are certainly bad people who will infiltrate into areas like leftist Twitch communities, but we just have to I think just all the chatter is good. The chatter is good. All in whether or not you're a streamer, or maybe I would say maybe you're not even on the internet, but we're all here on the internet. But just trying to always be better in our lives, always, we always can strive to lead with kindness and grace for those who are deserving of it. Your friend's having emo birthday party next week. Is this a TikTok trend? No, my friend. Oh, yeah, actually, I gotta frickin' go. Sorry. You know what? Should I send you guys to Sam's? I know she's doing a fun thing, which is why I wanted to send her a raid. I'm gonna call her and be like, will you go live? Hold on a second. Hey, I was going to raid you because I know you're doing that stream, but you're not live yet. Go live. Go live. What? Why? Oh, I thought you were going at 7:30.
Probably, but
Do
there's always like a margin of whatever.
it, lady. Okay, all right.
I mean, you can offline chat raid me. I don't even know if that does anything.
Does that do anything?
Just burn time.
You don't understand. My whole schedule has been messed up. It's actually caused me. I have to go. I'm dressed emo because I have to go to this birthday party that was supposed to be tomorrow night. I know.
Just go into somebody's chat and be like, hey, I'm raiding you, but and then
I'm going to raid someone and be like, hey,
you have to raid.
as soon as Sam goes live, you have to end stream and raid. Will, I know, I'm coming. Okay. All right. We got to go.
Go live for like 10 minutes and then
No, we both have to go. He's dressed as a farmer and I'm emo. Okay. Anyway.
whatever.
All right. Bye. Okay. Will, we also have to go pick up the cake, which is okay. Anyway, Okay, so I'm not sending you guys to Sam. I will send you to Rhizome. I don't really know them, but I think they're talking about this stuff as well. Rhizome. Okay. Oh my God, Will's coming in here. He's about to flip out. Okay, all right, y'all. I'm gonna send you over there. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry this is a really short stream. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll do lots of fun stuff. Things we didn't get to today. We'll address. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this community. And does he look like a farmer? You need to put the hat on. You're getting the hat. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye.